The sun had just begun to rise over the village of Oloyi, its golden rays breaking through the morning fog that rolled in from the ocean. The villagers, as usual, were busy with their daily tasks. Fishermen mending nets, women preparing food, children playing near the shore. But something was different today. A strange unease hung in the air, as if the very winds carried a warning from the depths of the sea. In the distance, small boats floated on the calm waters, while a lone child, Mose, was seen walking toward the beach. He was a boy of 10, full of life and curiosity, with a heart brave enough to explore the unknown. Little did he know that this was the day his world would change forever. As Mose wandered closer to the shoreline, he noticed something strange. The water, usually clear and inviting, was swirling in an unnatural way, as if it had a life of its own. The child bent closer to investigate, and then, without a sound, he vanished beneath the surface. Moses' disappearance was discovered shortly after, sending a ripple of panic through the village. The mother, Amma, rushed to the shoreline, calling his name with desperation in her voice. Her heart pounded in her chest as she scanned the waters for any sign of her son. It was as though the ocean had swallowed him whole, leaving no trace behind. The elders gathered quickly, murmuring about old legends of the sea, tales of the water spirits and mermaids that would sometimes take children to their underwater kingdoms. These spirits, called Mamiwata, were not always kind, and they demanded sacrifices in exchange for peace, but no one had seen one in generations. Was it possible? Amma refused to believe the rumors. "No," she cried. "Mosi cannot be gone like this. The sea has taken him, but I will bring him back." The village was divided. Some feared the spirits of the water. Others believed Mosi had simply wandered off. But Amma knew that the answer lay deeper than anyone could understand. The sea was hiding something from them, something ancient and powerful. As nightfall descended, Amma sat with the elders around the fire, their faces drawn with worry. The village chief, Olamide, spoke solemnly, his voice heavy with the weight of years. "This is not the first time the sea has claimed one of our own," he began. "Long ago, when the winds were strong and the tides high, the mermaids would sometimes take our children. It is said they are drawn to those with pure hearts, and they take them to their kingdom beneath the waves." Amma clenched her fists. "No, Mosi was not just a sacrifice. He is my son. I will not lose him to the ocean." The elders exchanged uneasy glances. "The Mamiwata are not to be angered," another elder warned. "But there is one who might help. The wise woman of the forest, Zuri. She is said to know the ways of the sea and its secrets. If anyone can bring your son back, it is her." Amma stood, determination in her eyes. "Then I will seek Zuri's counsel. I will do whatever it takes to bring Mosi home." The very next morning, Amma set out with her brother, Ikena, on a journey deep into the heart of the jungle. The villagers whispered of the forest's dangers, of the wild beasts that prowled, and the mysterious spirits that dwelled there. But Amma's heart was set. She had no choice but to trust that Zuri, the wise woman, could provide the answers. They walked for hours, the thick underbrush of the jungle making the path difficult. Ikena tried to console his sister, but she barely noticed. Her mind was consumed with the image of her son, lost to the Osan's grasp. After what felt like an eternity, they reached the clearing where Zuri lived. The wise woman's small hut stood at the edge of a river, a soft mist rising from its surface. Zuri, an old woman with deep, knowing eyes, greeted them without surprise. "I knew you would come," Zuri said, her voice calm. "The sea has taken what it wants, but nothing is ever truly lost, if you know how to find it." Ama's heart raced as she stepped forward. "Please, help me bring my son back." Zuri led Ama and Ikena to the riverbank, where the water shimmered under the midday sun. "The sea is a living thing," Zuri explained. "It is full of ancient power. The Mamiwata are not evil, but they are selfish, and they always take what they believe belongs to them." Ama listened closely. "But why Mosi? Why my son?" Zuri's eyes narrowed, as though searching for something in the distance. "The Mamiwata are drawn to the purest of souls, the children with hearts full of love and innocence. Your son must have been chosen because of his connection to the sea, perhaps from an ancestor who once bargained with these spirits. But I can't just let him go," Ama cried, her voice cracking. Zuri placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. "No one ever truly lets go. The sea may have taken him, but it is not the end. The ocean remembers all debts, and there is a way to balance them. You must venture into the depths and face the Mamiwata. Only then can your son be freed." Zuri began to prepare for the ritual that would allow Ama to enter the ocean's depths. She gathered herbs, oils, and sacred stones, muttering incantations as she worked. "This ritual will allow you to speak to the Mamiwata," Zuri explained. "But be warned, the ocean will test your heart, and you must not falter." Ama nodded. "I am ready." As the ritual was completed, Zuri handed Ama a small stone amulet, glowing with a soft blue light. "This will guide you to the heart of the ocean. But remember, the Mamiwata are not easily moved. You must show them your strength and your love for your child." Ama clutched the amulet tightly. "I will not fail." That night, as the full moon rose over the sea, Ama stood at the water's edge, the amulet in her hand. She felt a pull, deep and undeniable, calling her to the ocean. The sea, once calm, now began to churn, and the waves grew higher, as if beckoning her into their depths. Ikena tried to hold her back. "Ama, don't. The ocean is dangerous. You don't know what waits beneath." But Ama was resolute. "I will save Mosi. I will bring him home." Without another word, she stepped into the water, the coolness of the waves embracing her. The sea seemed to recognize her, parting before her as if creating a path. As she descended into the dark, her vision blurred, but the blue glow of the amulet guided her, lighting the way to the hidden kingdom beneath the waves. Ama descended deeper into the ocean's heart, her body weightless and her breath steady. The water surrounded her like an endless abyss, but the amulet's light pulsed, leading her further. Soon, the darkness gave way to an ethereal light. Ama found herself in a magnificent underwater kingdom, its walls made of coral and stone, glistening with the glow of bioluminescent fish. The Mamiwata, beautiful and terrifying, swam around her, their eyes gleaming with ancient power. In the center of the kingdom, Mosi was sitting, his eyes distant and lifeless. The leader of the mermaids, a regal figure with silver hair and sea-green eyes, emerged. "You have come to reclaim what belongs to us," she said, her voice echoing through the water. "But to take him back, you must offer something in return." Ama's heart raced. "What do you want?" The Mamiwata smiled coldly. "Your soul? Or his life?" Ama's heart hammered in her chest as she faced the Mamiwata, her son sitting motionless beside them. The Mermaid Queen's eyes glowed with a dark, otherworldly power. She was beautiful, her form shimmering in the water, but there was an undeniable chill in her presence. "You seek to take him back," the Mermaid Queen said, her voice like the sound of waves crashing against rocks. "But everything in this world has a price. Your son is mine, unless you offer me something in return." Amma clenched her fists, fighting out the rising panic in her chest. "What do you want from me?" The Mami Wata smiled, her teeth sharp as coral. "Your soul, Amma. Your heart, as pure as your son's, is a rare treasure in the world above. You must choose, him or you. Give yourself to the depths, and I will return him to you." Amma's thoughts raced. She had come this far. Was she truly prepared to offer her soul to this ancient being for the life of her son? Could she truly live with such a sacrifice? But then she looked at Mosi, lifeless and distant, and her heart swelled with love and determination. "I will not give up my soul," she said, her voice strong, "but I will offer you something else." The Mami Wata's eyes narrowed in suspicion. "And what might that be, human?" Amma stepped forward, her voice steady. "I offer you a deal. Let Mosi go, and in exchange, I will give you my service for 1 year. I will live beneath the waves, and in that time, I will learn your ways, your ancient secrets. After that year, you may decide if I am worthy to return to the surface, or stay with you." The Mami Wata stared at Amma, her gaze searching, considering. Time seemed to stand still as the Mermaid Queen weighed the offer. The ocean around them was silent, as though it too was waiting for the Queen's decision. "Your offer is unusual, but it is a fair one," the Mami Wata said after a long pause. "Very well. I will release your son, but you will stay with me for 1 year, serving in my kingdom. You will not return until that time has passed." Amma nodded, relief flooding her chest. "I agree." The Mami Wata gestured with a fluid motion, and Mosi's eyes suddenly flickered with life. His gaze turned to Amma, a small, confused smile appearing on his face. "You are free, child," the Mami Wata said softly. "But remember this. 1 year of your mother's service is the price for your freedom." Amma turned to Mosi, her heart full of relief and love. She reached out to him, and he swam toward her, his small arms wrapping around her tightly. "Mother, I was so scared. What happened? Where are we?" Amma kissed his forehead gently. "It's okay, Mosi. We're going home." The Mami Wata stepped aside, allowing them both to swim toward the surface. The ocean around them parted, and the water seemed to carry them upwards. As they breached the surface, the moonlight bathed their faces, and they gasped for air. The villagers, waiting on the shore, cheered in disbelief as Amma and Mosi emerged from the sea, alive and unharmed. They had expected to see a lifeless body, but instead they saw the mother and son, safe in each other's arms. Amma looked back toward the sea, the weight of the bargain she had made settling heavily in her heart. The Mami Wata's warning echoed in her mind. 1 year, and only then could you return to the land. Back at home, Amma's heart was torn between joy and dread. Mosi was with her again, but she could not forget the promise she had made to the Mami Wata. For 1 year, she would live in the underwater kingdom, bound by the Mermaid Queen's words. She knew she had little time to prepare for the difficult journey ahead. That night, as she sat by the fire with Mosi, she kissed his forehead and whispered, "I'll be back, my son, no matter what happens. I will always return to you." Mosi looked up at her, his wide, trusting eyes filled with innocence. "I know you will, mother." Amma held him close, feeling the weight of her decision. She had done what was necessary to save him. But now, the true test would begin. The test of her will, her strength, and the love that bound her to her son. For 1 year, she would serve the Mamiwata, but her heart remained firmly anchored in the world above. The ocean had claimed its due, but Amma would return to reclaim her freedom. The time soon arrived for Amma to fulfill her bargain. She kissed Mosi one last time before she left for the depths, and he promised to wait for her return. With the amulet in hand, she stepped into the water once more, the waves parting before her. This time, the ocean felt colder, its depths darker, as though it was swallowing her whole. As she descended into the dark waters, the pressure of the ocean surrounded her, and the light grew faint. She could feel the pull of the deep, the call of the Mamiwata's kingdom. Soon, she was no longer swimming alone. The mermaids, with their shimmering forms and ethereal beauty, surrounded her, guiding her toward the grand city below. The kingdom beneath the waves was unlike anything she had ever seen. The walls were made of coral, glowing softly with bioluminescence. Strange, fantastical creatures swam beside them, and the air was thick with the scent of salt water and ancient power. This was a world that had remained hidden from humanity for centuries, and now Amma was part of it. Amma was led to the grand hall of the Mamiwata, where the mermaid queen awaited her. The court was vast, with creatures of the deep gathered in silent reverence. The Mamiwata's gaze fell upon Amma, cold and calculating. "You have arrived," the Mamiwata said, her voice resonating through the water. "You will learn the ways of the ocean, but know this: you will never leave this place unless I permit it. Your soul now belongs to the sea." Amma nodded, understanding the gravity of her decision. The mermaid queen's eyes glowed, and she gestured for Amma to follow. "There is much for you to learn. For 1 year, you will serve me, and in return, your son will be safe. But remember, the sea demands its price." Amma swallowed the lump in her throat. She had made her choice, but now the price of that choice was beginning to settle in her bones. The first lesson was harsh. The Mamiwata required Amma to learn the ancient songs of the sea, songs that called forth the creatures of the deep, songs that bound the waters to the will of the singer. Amma was forced to sing, and though her voice was strong, the ocean's currents were relentless, pushing her to the brink of exhaustion. Each day, the lessons grew more difficult. The Mamiwata taught her the power of the deep, showing Amma how to communicate with the sea creatures, control the tides, and summon storms. But with each lesson, Amma felt herself becoming more detached from the world she had known. Her heart ached for Mosi, who remained on the surface. She kept her promise to him, but the deeper she fell into the world of the Mamiwata, the harder it became to hold on to the love that had once defined her. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months. Amma had settled into the routine of her new life beneath the waves, but every night she dreamed of Mosi, his smiling face, his soft laughter. She remembered the warmth of the sun on her skin, the sound of the birds in the trees, and the feeling of solid earth beneath her feet. The Mamiwata had kept her end of the bargain, but Amma knew that the ocean's depths were not kind, and the year ahead would test her like nothing before. 1 year of service, 1 year until she could return to the surface and reunite with her son. The clock was ticking, and Amma's resolve was the only thing keeping her grounded in the sea. Ama's days in the underwater kingdom had begun to blur into one another, each as difficult as the last. The Mami Wata's lessons were relentless, and the weight of the ocean pressed heavily on her spirit. Despite her exhaustion, she kept her promise, working tirelessly, learning the ways of the deep, all while the image of Mozi haunted her every thought. One evening, as she finished her duties, a sudden storm raged outside the kingdom. The sea shook violently, the water turning dark and tumultuous. The Mami Wata appeared before Ama, her eyes flashing with power. "The sea has stirred," the Mami Wata intoned. "This is your first test. You must call forth the storm and calm the waters, or the kingdom will fall into chaos." Ama's heart sank. She had never attempted anything so powerful before. The storm was a wild beast, and she was to tame it. She stepped forward, the ocean's fury crashing against her body. Her mind raced as she recalled the songs she had learned, the ancient melodies of the deep. With all her might, she sang, her voice trembling at first, but growing stronger with each note. The waves roared, and the creatures of the deep swam in circles, waiting for her to control the storm. Her heart pounded as she felt the ocean's vast power swirl around her, testing her strength. After what felt like an eternity, the storm slowly began to subside. The waters calmed, and the creatures of the deep returned to their quiet dwellings. Ama breathed a sigh of relief, exhausted but victorious. The Mami Wata studied her with cold approval. "You have passed the first test, but there are many more to come. Your loyalty will be tested at every turn." As the days passed, Ama noticed something strange. The Mami Wata's eyes often lingered on her, not with the same coldness as before, but with a curiosity that made Ama uneasy. One evening, after completing her tasks, Ama sought refuge in a quiet corner of the kingdom to rest, hoping for a brief respite from the ever-watchful eyes of the Mermaid Queen. It was then that she saw him, a figure in the shadows, watching her with intense, knowing eyes. His face was partially hidden, but his long hair and muscular build suggested he was a being from the depths of the ocean, not like the others who served the Mami Wata. There was something familiar about him, but Ama couldn't place it. The stranger stepped forward, his presence magnetic, and spoke in a low voice. "You have great strength, Ama, but do you truly know what you've bargained for?" Ama's breath caught in her throat. "Who are you?" "I am one who has been here longer than you, a prisoner, much like you will be. The Mami Wata keeps us all under her power," the stranger whispered. "Your soul is not the only thing she seeks. She wants to rule the surface world through you. But if you give her that power, you may never return to your son." Ama felt a chill run through her, but she held her ground. "I will not let her keep me here forever. I will honor my bargain and return to Mosi." The stranger's eyes glinted. "The ocean has a way of trapping even the strongest hearts. Be careful, Ama. The Mami Wata's power is ancient, and it will test you more than you realize." As the months passed, Ama began to question the nature of the Mami Wata's rule. The Mermaid Queen had shown her the dark, powerful magic of the ocean, teaching her how to command the creatures of the deep and wield the waters as a weapon. But the more Ama learned, the more she felt something unsettling growing within her. The Mami Wata's power seemed all-consuming, and the very essence of the sea began to change her, molding her into something unfamiliar. One evening, As she practiced her craft in the deepest caverns of the kingdom, the Mami Wata approached her, her expression unreadable. "You have served well, Ama," she said, her voice dripping with praise. "And now, I offer you a gift that will solidify your place among us. You are becoming one with the sea, your powers growing stronger with each passing day. I can feel it." Ama hesitated, the words of the stranger echoing in her mind. The Mami Wata reached out, placing her hand on Ama's chest. The moment her skin touched Ama's, a surge of energy coursed through her, filling her veins with an unearthly power. It was as if the very ocean itself was now a part of her, wrapping around her heart and soul. "This power will make you unstoppable," the Mami Wata whispered. "You will be one of us, a ruler of the sea." Ama's body trembled as the power coursed through her, but in the back of her mind, she felt the stirrings of something else. The memory of her son, the love she had promised to return to. She pulled away from the Mami Wata's touch, her heart conflicted. "I will not forget my promise," she said, her voice steady despite the turmoil inside her. Days later, Ama stood at the edge of the kingdom, looking out over the vast expanse of the ocean. Her mind was in turmoil. She had gained power, unimaginable power, and yet the cost was becoming clearer with each passing day. The Mami Wata's grip on her was tightening, and the longer she stayed, the more she felt herself slipping away from the world above, from Mosi. The ocean, once a thing of beauty, now felt like a prison, its currents strong enough to drown even the most powerful hearts. The memory of Mosi's smile, his innocent face, was beginning to fade. The ocean's magic threatened to erase everything she had once known. Just then, the stranger appeared again, his eyes filled with urgency. "Listen to me, Ama. You must leave. The Mami Wata is not what she seems. She will not let you go. You must make your escape before it's too late." Ama's heart clenched. "But Mosi, I promised." "You cannot save him if you remain here," the stranger said, his voice filled with pain. "The Mami Wata will take everything from you, but you still have time to choose." Ama looked out over the vast, dark sea, feeling the weight of her decision pressed down on her. Would she break her bargain, defy the ocean's power, and return to Mosi? Or would she stay, bound by the Mami Wata's magic, forever a prisoner of the depths? The choice was hers. The night was quiet, save for the whispering of the ocean. Ama stood at the edge of the sea, the distant glow of the Mami Wata's kingdom behind her, its eerie lights flickering like a fading dream. She had made her decision. The stranger's words had struck deep, and the power the Mami Wata had given her now felt like a heavy burden, one that threatened to drown her. The love for her son, Mosi, was the only thing keeping her from completely losing herself to the depths. "I cannot stay," Ama whispered to herself. "I made a promise to my son. I will return to him." With that resolve, she turned away from the heart of the Mami Wata's kingdom. Her powers, immense as they were, seemed to fade as she stepped away from the heart of the ocean's magic. She felt vulnerable for the first time in months. The ocean was no longer her ally. It had become a vast, intimidating force that would seek to stop her from leaving. As she swam toward the surface, the water grew colder, the pressure mounting. The Mami Wata's voice echoed in her mind, soft yet menacing. "You cannot escape me, Ama. You belong to the sea now." Ama fought against the current, her heart beating like a drum in her chest. She had no choice. She would fight with every ounce of strength she had left. Every stroke, every push forward was a step closer to freedom. Just as Amma neared the surface, the ocean around her began to churn. The water seemed to boil, and a deep, rumbling voice shook the sea. "You will not leave," the Mami Wata's voice boomed, cold and filled with wrath. "You cannot defy me." A massive wave rose up from beneath her, towering over her like a monstrous wall. Amma's heart raced. The Mami Wata's fury was unlike anything she had experienced. The Mermaid Queen had unleashed the full power of the ocean against her. Amma took a deep breath, her body heavy with the weight of the magic that surrounded her. The storm was relentless, but she was determined. She reached deep inside herself, summoning the strength she had learned from the Mami Wata's teachings. The power of the ocean, which had once felt like a prison, now became her ally. With a roar, Amma pushed through the wave, her arms slicing through the water. She called upon the storm, turning its fury against the Mami Wata's magic. Lightning flashed across the sky, illuminating the furious waters. The sea screamed in protest, but Amma was unstoppable. She swam faster, her heart set on the surface above, where Mozi awaited her. The water grew calmer as Amma broke through the storm, her breath coming in ragged gasps. The sky above was a deep, inky blue, and the moonlight bathed her as she neared the surface. The weight of the ocean seemed to lift from her body, and she kicked toward the shore with all her remaining strength. Her heart pounded as she breached the surface, gasping for air. The cool night air was a welcome relief after the oppressive weight of the deep. She looked around frantically, searching for the familiar shape of land. Then she saw it. The shoreline, bathed in moonlight, and Mosi, waiting on the edge of the water. He stood there, his eyes wide, waiting for her return. "Mama!" Mosi cried, rushing forward. Amma collapsed into his arms, tears of relief streaming down her face. "I'm here, Mosi. I'm here." Mosi held her tight, his small arms wrapped around her. She kissed the top of his head, feeling the warmth of his body against hers. For a moment, the weight of everything fell away. She had kept her promise. She had returned. As Amma and Mosi stood on the shore, the moonlight casting a gentle glow around them, Amma felt a sudden chill. The Mami Wata's voice echoed faintly in the back of her mind, like a distant whisper carried by the wind. "You will never be free of me, Amma. The ocean will always call for you." Amma took a deep breath, turning to look out at the dark horizon. She had made her choice. The ocean had tried to claim her, to bind her with its ancient magic. But she was stronger than that. Her love for Mosi, her bond to the land and the world above, was far more powerful than the deepest depths of the sea. "I'm not your prisoner anymore," she said softly, her voice steady. "The ocean no longer owns me." Mosi looked up at her, confusion in his eyes. "Mama?" Amma smiled and crouched down to look him in the eyes. "No matter what happens, Mosi, we are free now. The ocean can no longer take us." The sound of the waves crashing against the shore seemed to quiet as she spoke, and for the first time in a long while, Amma felt peace. She had kept her promise. She had defeated the Mami Wata, and no matter what the future held, she would always return to Mosi. The sea could not take away her soul. As the first rays of dawn broke over the horizon, Amma and Mosi walked away from the water, leaving the deep blue behind. The ocean might call, but their hearts would remain forever free.